Hi guys, Mark here. Welcome. Today we're doing a mermaid's tail paracord key fob. We begin our project with the top part of our key fob. I'm going to grab a piece of microcord, fold it in half, finding the middle point. Usually I use a piece of thread to help me attach my beads. Essentially, we are going to be working top down, so this middle point here is here at the bottom of our beads. So we first attach this bead, so the very top one, then the second one, the middle one, this one, and finally the very bottom bead. To really lock this bottom into place here, I'm going to attach it onto a piece of Paracord 550. So this one here is like 10 inches long. I'm going to do a simple lark's head knot onto the piece of Paracord 550. So, our bead work. After the beads, we attach a piece of hardware at the top. You can do a hook. In my case, I'm going to do a key ring. After securing your hardware with some sort of a sinnet, trim off the ends. Carefully melt them. So this finishes up the top of our key fob. We are now focusing on this part here, between the beads and the actual tail. So this part brings these two strands together. Now to really lock everything into place, I usually stitch these two strands together, then whip over them. So needle, thread, a stopper knot, and some stitching. So this is not really high-level stitching, it's just bringing the two strands together. Running the end through a couple of times. Then finishing through the loop, like this, tightening up. Next, grab a piece of microcord, maybe 2 feet long. Form a bite. Place it over the section which you would like to cover. Then do some spiral hitching. So you make a loop, pass it over everything, tighten up. Repeat. Loop, over everything, tighten up. Repeat a number of times as you wish. After covering my stitching, I have enough of hitching. I'm going to tie the two ends together using a reef knot. So nothing fancy at all. Like this. So in this case, I only used half of a knot. You can repeat this if you want. Trimming the ends, melting them. Our spiral part is complete. We are finally doing the bottom of the tail, which is essentially macrame. I'm going to pin down my key fob just to prevent it from moving, as well as providing some tension for tightening my knots. Onto each side here, I'm going to attach 4 pieces of microcord using a reversed lark's head knot. With all 8 strands attached, I'm going to move the right side out of the way and work for a bit on the left, grabbing the inner strand, passing it over the other 7 ends, then attaching the 7 ends onto this guiding strand, one by one. Double half hitches. We then start our second row exactly the same way. So the inner strand passes over our other ends. We then attach our 6 ends onto the guiding strand. Again double half hitches. With 2 rows done on the left, we move on to the right side, do the exact same thing. So the inner strand passes over the other ends. We then attach the 7 ends onto the guiding strand, using double half hitches. We then do a second row, grabbing the inner strand again, passing it over the other ends, then attaching the 6 ends onto the guiding strand. Again using double half hitches. we have done 2 rows on each side. The next row is going to be slightly different. I want to connect the 2 parts here into one so that the tail is held together at the center. So I'm going to exchange the inner 2 most strands, crossing them like this and using them as guiding strands for the 3rd row. The inner strand from the right side passes over the other ends on the left, and we attach the 5 ends onto the guiding strand. So just a slight variation to make sure that the tail is held together. Same double half hitches across the board. Move the 5 strands from the left out of the way. The strand coming from the left towards the right is our guiding strand. Attach the 5 ends onto this guiding strand. So this is one of the 2 that we crossed. Double half hitches, just like in the previous 2 rows. We are now doing our very final row. Just like the first 2, grab the innermost strand, pass it over the other ends, attach the 4 ends onto the guiding strand. Rows on the left complete. So we did 4 here on the left. Grab the innermost strand on the right side, pass it over the other ends, attach the 4 ends onto the guiding strand. So this completes our rows. We now attach the guiding strands on the sides onto our Paracord 550. This will shape up the outer side of our tail. So the Paracord 550 acts as a guiding strand, and we attach the guiding ones onto it, one by one, as close to our cords here as possible. With the 4 guiding strands attached, let's do the other side as well. With this done, our project is pretty much complete. Time to do some trimming, and we are done. So guys, this concludes our tutorial on the Mermaid's Tail Paracord key fob. Thank you very much for joining me, and see ya next time.